Welcome to the manual.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
I'm Chip Rice, and this is Alton Woods.
That's right.
Glad to be with you again here to talk about men. Men are on table today.
That's right.
Every time we come on the podcast, we want to deal with something that deals with men, and we call it the manual because we want to give you something that you can actually take away to live by. So
That's right. That's
what we do.
Right. That's what we do. And before we get back into our topic from the last time, you know how we do. We give you some homework. So I need you to get on all of your social media platforms, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and find The Manual, MANUAL. And on some of those platforms, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram specifically, it will be The Manual 4, number 4, U, letter U. So go find it, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it. Tell your daddy about it, tell your brothers about it, your uncles, right. Whoever you need to tell about it, your sons, whomever. Bring them along. We're going to have some fun on here.
Yeah, we're going to take a few minutes just to give you some good information. We're not going to waste your time.
Nope.
Because a man's time is important.
Important. That's right. And so we're going to give you good information and we're going to give it to you fast.
That's right. That's right. So in part 2 of our segment, we were talking about the definition of a man. We said that a man is a God-inspired male that leads with purpose, produces based on his ability, and takes responsibility for what he's been entrusted with. Because we are really, really excited about men and really want to see men walk into their purpose.
That's right. That's right.
You know, there's a lot of brothers out here, man, that don't have any direction.
That's right.
We still, leaning on the wall at the club with a little shot of Hennessy.
That's
Thinking
right.
That's life, man.
That's right. That's right.
It's more life to be lived out there.
That's right. One day we're going to tell my Hennessy stories. Because that Brown was something else. But anyway, we're not here for that. We're not here for that today.
What did Brown do for you?
We're not going to talk about it today. All right. But in our definition, right, we were talking about, I think we started with a God-inspired man.
Yeah.
Right. So it's important that everybody understands that's our jumping off point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's got to start at the beginning.
Right.
I think that for people to say that everything that we have, everything's been done has not been done by intelligent design is kind of ludicrous.
It is.
Everything that operates in your world needed somebody of intelligence to put it together.
That's right.
So we ain't trying to throw religion down anybody's throat or anything else, but you got to start with the beginning, where what's your maker, where'd you come from?
That's right.
And so we acknowledge that God is the intelligent designer. So
that's right.
We just kind of look at that and figure out, okay, so then if he's the designer, let's kind of figure out what it is that he did and how that applies to us.
Right.
So when we talk about men, Scripture says man was formed out of the dust of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
God breathed into him to the breath of life, man becomes a living soul.
That's right.
What's important about that? What is so significant about that? When you read that and then you think about being a man, what does that mean to you?
Right. Before we go there, can we just back up just a little bit?
All right,
let's back up. And some of this is I'm sure that some of the seasoned saints that's checking this out is going to be, we know, right? But I don't think we should make any assumptions.
Okay,
right?
I agree.
Right. So back in Genesis 1, and we won't get caught up into the theological portion of this conversation. That'll be for another podcast on another day.
Okay.
Maybe we'll title it something different. But anyway, God said, "Let us make man in our image." Okay. So somebody's out there saying, "Who is us and our?" Well, we'll give you another podcast to dig into us and our. right. We don't leave that alone for today. That's deep right there, right? But I think the point here, though, is when we say God inspired, the premise is that God started with his own image. This conversation said, let me create a creation in my image.
Wow.
So I think that part is important, and I'll tell you why. Because if we can be real honest right now, there are men out there who are struggling with depression, insecurity,
Yes.
and all of those other types of feelings that make you feel inadequate
Yes.
and unprepared. But
Along with the pressure of wanting other people to think that you are prepared and,
Right.
and adequate for
Right.
everything
Right.
when we're really not.
right, because as a man, I got to be everything to everybody.
Absolutely.
But on the inside, I'm screaming. I'm crying. But on the outside, I got to be everything for everybody. And so the first part of this, and the God-inspired part that I think everyone needs to know, and the message I want to give to every man out there is you were created in the image of God. So unless you consider God to be inadequate and unprepared, there is something in you that can rise to this occasion. And I think that's important because men being depressed and insecure and all of the things we're too afraid to talk to each other about is something that eventually we got to deal with. So sidebar message is you a king.
Wow.
You, man, are a king.
Right.
Okay. So now, I'm sorry, let's go back to your question. I wanted to start there.
That's intense, man, because that may be helping some people right now.
Right,
I mean, like,
right.
You know, that your feeling of being inadequate, you know, it's not who you are.
That's right. That's right.
You know, there's something great on the inside.
Great. And okay, this might be the Holy Ghost. And there are people who are looking at this podcast and thinking, my mother said I would never be anything.
Wow.
My father, my uncle, my friends, my teachers, my whomever said I would never amount to anything.
People that we think are significant.
People that are unqualified in some cases, unqualified in some cases to tell us anything, are shaping our lives and causing us to forget that we were created in the very image of God. Wow. The God that said, let there be light, and light came. That God, that one.
And now we got people telling us who we are.
Who we are.
And they have no clue.
No clue.
They're not even properly invested in us for us to be who it is
That's right.
we're supposed to be.
That's right. They have no clue, and in some cases, no thing, as in nothing. No place, no credibility.
And sometimes they are having their own inadequacies.
Yes.
And now they're trying
Project.
to project it on somebody else.
Absolutely.
It's like, I'm inadequate, so I got to make you inadequate now
That's
in
right.
order for me to feel superior
That's
in
right.
the situation.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
That's right. That's right. Men, I want you to know, and I don't care if you're a believer or not, because this statement is true. I want every man to know that God loves you. Period. And that's important because some of us, and in our last show, we talked about both of us being blessed to have our fathers in our lives. So I'm not saying that this was our issue, but I know there's a lot of men out there who never had a man to look at them and say, I love you.
Wow.
And I'm proud of you. Right? And God, the Father, loves you and is proud of you.
Proud of you.
Proud of you.
You're the thing that he looked at and said, this is good.
This is good. See, you keep reading that?
Like,
This is good.
that's why, men, there's something in us. And it comes out more so for some than others.
Right.
It's like, I'm a bad man.
Right.
There's something in you
Right.
that lets you know that, okay, I can do this.
That's
I got
right.
the goods.
That's right.
But when people come along and try to suppress that or try to tear it apart and demean it, we lose out on being who it is we're supposed
That's
to
right.
be.
That's right.
And then we let other people usurp our authority.
Yes.
Wow,
Absolutely.
That's probably another shit.
That's probably another show. I agree. And by the way, God, when I say God loves you, there's no qualifier on that.
Word.
His love is unconditional. So memo. He loved you even if you didn't go to church last Sunday.
Word.
Yeah. Or if you
He
missed Bible
loved
study.
you. He loved you if you was like getting all in the tobacco out the black and mild.
Oh yeah.
And then
Rocks. powder, whatever it is, he still loves you. He still loves you, right? So anyway, I'm sorry. I just felt the need to back up just a little bit.
It's important
to address that, because honestly, if we think about the reason why we're probably even doing this podcast, why God even put this on our heart, is because there's so many of us out there who just don't know how special we are.
Yeah.
How important we are, how valuable we are, how great we are. And that, at the end of the day, if one man who maybe was considering suicide, or considering giving up, or considering divorce, or considering walking out and not taking care of his kids, or considering not doing whatever it is that's happening, if one man can say, I'm good enough to be successful, God loves me, then this whole series, all of this work is worth it.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
If we can see our value.
That's right.
Man is the only creature that God used his hands to create.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wanted to put his hands on.
That's right.
That's why it's important for a man to be hands-on with his children.
Come on now.
And certain
Come
things, so
on.
you can shape them and mold them to what they're supposed to be. But what happens when you're a man and nobody helps shape you or mold
Exactly.
you? And
Exactly.
You lose a lot of the essence of who you are.
That's right.
So you had nobody shape you.
That's right. That's right.
You know, there's a lot of people that are complaining now about stuff that's going on in these streets with, you know, different kids and some of the gang things that are happening and a lot of stuff. The truth of the matter is somebody didn't shape some of these.
That's right. That's right.
Now, we got some fake gangsters out there, you know, some of us who grew up right, but we just trying to hang out in the street and be a thug, and, you know, you are a pseudo thug.
That's right. That's right.
But there are a lot of people out there, man, that never had anybody to shape their lives. That's why sports in a lot of communities are so wildly successful with kids.
Absolutely.
Because you got somebody who's actually paying attention to them. You see it all the time with your with the football team.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With the Ducks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All the time. It's the reason I do it. I'm super competitive. So I love to win and I enjoy all of that for sure. No denying that, right?
But you compete, you like winning?
What? What? I hate losing. Hate it with everything in me.
Y'all would be deep if y'all would do.
Yeah, I hate it. Well, you're a believer. You're not supposed to hate it. I hate it.
Hate it. Hate losing.
But what I love winning, and I love equally watching these young men grow and change and get it and figure it out and work things out and mature and all of the things. And so just being a small part of that is super cool.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Super cool. Super cool. All right, but all right, God inspired me. I think we got that. We nailed that.
Yeah.
What God inspired is. But what about the leads with purpose? I'm sorry, you asked me a question and we talked so much I forgot to go back. You remember the question?
I don't.
Okay, don't worry about it. All right, I'm sure it'll come back. But God inspired male that leads with purpose. Leads what? Who?
Great question. So, Dr. Miles Monroe has a very, very statement.
Yes,
one of the
indeed.
things
I
I
use
live
it.
by. He said, when the purpose of a thing isn't known, abuse is inevitable.
That's right.
If you don't know what the purpose for something is, eventually you will abuse
That's
it.
right.
And I can look at my life and say, man, I have inflicted a lot of abuse on others and myself because I didn't recognize what the purpose was.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So, you know, I think that one of the things as men, we have to figure out is, what's my purpose?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
My value is already set.
Of course. We established that.
Yeah, my value's already set. You can't be any more valuable than you are right now. You can be to other people, but God set your value.
That's right.
When He made you.
That's right.
So that's why you don't have to wear anybody's jersey with their name on the back in order for you to have valuable or to be valuable, or to wear a certain shoe to be valuable, because you're already valuable.
That's right.
This just accentuates everything that I am.
That's right. That's right.
But now that I'm here, what's
What
my
now?
purpose? What am I going to do?
That's
What am I
right.
here for?
That's right.
And most men don't really ask that question. We just kind of fall into what it is we do.
Mm-hmm.
And we spend years doing stuff that's not even our purpose.
Not even our purpose. Not even our purpose. And not even understanding how we're supposed to execute our purpose in the various seasons of our life. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because while my purpose may not change, when I go from being single to being married, how I navigate that purpose changes.
Right. That's intense.
Or God forbid, if I go from single to being married back to being single.
Yeah.
Right. So while maybe at its foundational level, the purpose never changed, the circumstances around it might change up how that looks and how that shows up.
How does my purpose change when I become a father?
That's right.
How does my purpose change for some of you who may be a grandfather?
That's right.
How does my purpose change when I take on a particular job?
That's right.
A particular place. Does it fit my purpose? Good. Right. That's good side note. Side note, that whatever your purpose is, the things you do should line up with your purpose.
Everything.
You can't chase money and other things and miss your purpose.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll end up being unfulfilled.
So wait a minute. Get this right. So you can have all the money in the world and still be unfulfilled.
Absolutely. Why are rich people committing suicide?
Why do rich people who play children's games rip their stuff off and do jumping jacks on the field? We don't have to go there. That's another conversation. But I think that your point is well taken, and that is, if there is a void, the things of this world won't fill that void at all.
Won't do it. The richest man that ever lived said that life is vanity.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's right.
Because y'all know, I know you be like, man, if I had paper, like this person got paper, I be doing this, I be doing that, and they look at this, and what did JC say? More money?
More problems.
More problems. Because you don't understand that the money is not the purpose. It is a result of the purpose.
That's right.
That's what it should be.
That's what it should be. So lead with purpose. A God-inspired male that leads with purpose.
Okay.
That's the first part of our definition.
Leading who? Leading what?
So I think that conversation, the interesting part of that conversation is that, and it goes back to those seasons in life. When I'm single, the who and the what is one thing.
Okay.
When I'm married, the who and the what changes. When I have kids, the who and the what changes again. Okay. And I'm using things, I know we weren't born in the manger, so some of us had kids before we got married. So I get all of that, but I'm just kind of using God's infinitely wise order of things. Yeah. Are we going to talk about baby mamas on any of these shows?
Oh my goodness, that's probably one of the most popular ones.
Yeah,
and
can we talk about baby mamas and wives and how all that worked together? Okay, I'm sorry. Side note. We only got a couple more minutes. So lead who? All right, let's go back to it. So when you're single, and this is still true through all of the phases that I referenced, but when you're single, how you lead yourself is super, super important. It's your focus, right? Because which by the way, we talk a lot about divorce rates and all of that kind of stuff, but what I found in some of my conversations is if we don't figure out how to lead ourselves in our own lives with purpose, and then you add a wife to that mix. Because I love my wife, Shalice Woods, I love you, baby. But it takes some energy.
Yes.
And some focus. I'm searching for some politically correct words. Because the channel's not blocked. If she wants to like and subscribe at the manual for you, she can do that. So
it takes energy.
Energy and focus.
I got one at the house. Hey, Thursday.
But so the foundational part is, how do I lead and manage myself? How do I tell myself no?
You don't, because you're only thinking about yourself. It's your teens, 20s, 30s are probably the most selfish times of your entire life.
Should be the most selfish time.
I'm saying from the standpoint of, from a negative.
No, I agree. Okay. But I was dealing with the fact that I talked to some 30 and 40-year-olds who still selfish like they're in their teens. So what I'm saying is if you're going to have a selfish season, that season expires when, for definition purposes, let's just say it should expire somewhere around the time that you have a 2 as the first number in your age.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you get a 3, you should be kind of past some of this selfish stuff.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of stuff that should be changing.
Yeah. Maybe early to mid 2s, but we're gonna go with that. So I think, then when you get married, you then have the responsibility to lead your household, which starts with you because you are a member of that household.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you have kids, you have to lead your household, which now includes you, your wife, and your kids. And by the way, leads with purpose, which means you have to understand your purpose, the purpose of your wife, your helpmeet, and the purpose of your be fruitful and multiply kids.
That's a lot of pressure, Alvin.
It is a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of
pressure. That's why we're doing this. It's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure to try to figure it out, especially if I haven't had anybody tell me up front that
correct.
This is what I'm going to be responsible for.
That's right.
It's probably the reason why it's easier to leave than it is to stay.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of pressure that you feel.
That's right. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. And then you might have to lead yourself, lead your wife, lead your kids, and lead somebody else's kids too. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To just keep building the pressure, right? And then if that don't work, then you get reconnected or remarried or whatever that status is for you. You got to lead yourself, lead your new household, lead your kids that might be in your household or the previous household. Lead somebody else's kids. And depending on the age of your kids, there's a certain level of leadership you even will have to exert with the mother of your natural kids. That might not be your current wife.
That's too much pressure.
It's too much pressure.
That's too much pressure.
Too much pressure.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
And so it gets a little tiring when you got women.
That's
sometimes
right.
It's saying he a grown man.
Right.
Because sometimes they don't take into consideration the pressure you're under as a man.
Well, you're right. And my argument would be it's because they define a man differently.
Yeah.
He's a grown man. That's a physical attribute.
Mm-hmm.
Age. He has a job. See, these are some of the things that's going into that definition.
Right.
But what they're not dealing with is the condition on the inside. Right. Because there's some 6'5", 275-pound kids walking around. Mm-hmm. Because on the inside, they still need the validation and the affirmation and the shaping and the molding that I never got. They just old enough now to make kids. Well, I guess you're old enough real early, but you get what I'm saying. They're old enough now to replicate their experiences, which is the next problem, because if you don't lead yourself with purpose, now you produce other people who don't know how to lead themselves with purpose. Wow. They still all made in the image of God.
Yep.
But he entrusted you to now rule your house well. So if you don't fix all of that, now you go and you break somebody else. Wow. Not on purpose. It's not on purpose.
Yeah, and I think that's hard trying to navigate all that.
Yeah.
Between I did do this and I'm wrong, but I don't care, to get into the root, to the depth of it and say, okay, but why?
Why?
What's causing you to do
right.
that? Because a lot of times we have the what, we don't have the why.
We don't have the why. That's right.
I see what you're doing. I see how you're acting out. Mm-hmm. But what I don't have is the why. And so I'm making too many comments on your what.
That's right.
And not asking about your why.
Exactly.
And I'm sure it's many brothers out there that have been attacked with the what.
That's right.
But you never, and some of it is our fault because, we're not as sensitive, you know, in certain areas, and we try to have this facade as far as what a man is. But sometimes I need you to ask me why.
Why?
What's going on with you?
That's right. But just to be clear, the why to gain understanding, not the why to be judgmental. Two different whys. So if you're a female watching this now, let me go on ahead and help you. When you can ask, why did you do something? The inflection point of that question changes what that means. Okay, ladies. So you don't run up on your man talking about why you. Well, see, that's not the why that implies you trying to understand.
Right.
And we don't respond very well to those things. Some of us have learned to bite our tongue and navigate this problem differently. Some of us will blow up immediately, but at the end of the day, we all have the same thing that rises up in us.
A lot of times, it's the reason for domestic violence because women can think and process a lot faster than men can. And what happens is you're doing all this processing and thinking and talking, and the man hasn't been able to get his thought out. And so what a man is going to do is when he becomes enraged and can't get his thoughts out, then it can become physical.
That's right.
And what he does. Now, it doesn't make it right.
No, it's wrong.
Yeah, it's
still wrong. That's right.
I'm just trying to tell you what's happening there.
Right.
Because there was the pressure was building.
That's right.
And this man doesn't know how to get out what he's trying to say, which is why it's rare that you get a man hollering at a woman.
That's right.
Now, your woman will holler at anything.
Yes,
child, cat, dog, door.
At nothing.
Yeah.
At nothing. At nothing. Home alone.
It's just holler at something. But men normally, unless they're involved in some kind of activity, don't do that. And that's because you're processing a lot faster than a man. It doesn't mean that the man is not smart.
No.
Doesn't mean he's not articulate. Doesn't mean that he doesn't have the ability to get his point across.
Right.
But you gotta set it up for him to be able to say, okay,
that's right.
What's going on?
That's right. So ladies, when you ask the why, pay attention to how you ask it. Brothers, if she's not asking it right, take a deep breath, count to 10, and then let her know how you need that question asked to help facilitate a good answer.
Yeah.
Right? And by the way, last point for me for this show is I said let her know, which is probably one of the most difficult things for us as men, is to let our significant others, in some cases anybody, in on how we're really feeling and how they make us feel. And so it builds and builds and builds into this explosion point. Right? We got to talk. We have to talk.
Because we're not used to being vulnerable.
That's right.
We're not used to letting our guard down and really saying, this is what I feel, this is what because somehow we feel like if we do that,
that's right, then
that's going to make us less than the man that we think we're supposed to be.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Wow. We unpacked a lot of stuff here on this one, so that means you got to keep coming back.
That's right.
So we got a whole lot more we're going to do for the man.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So listen, we say it all the time. We'll say it again. Put your comments in. Share your thoughts. Let us know. Can you relate to what we're saying? What else you want to hear about these topics? We'll do our best to weave all of those things in and respond. And however, some kind of way, we'll get it all figured out. But we want to hear from you. This is not just us sitting here talking, right? We're going to talk anyway. But the point is, we want to make sure that we're meeting your needs as our audience. So drop us some comments. Make sure you like and subscribe to Manual for You.
Until next time.
Until next time.